Yes. Well, thanks for being here. I'm Katie Lively. I work with Jesse at Extra Inning. I actually played at Troy, so I'm very familiar
Okay.
with Marshall. Y'all had a really good year last year, I know, and I know y'all are
Thank
doing well
you.
this year. Question. How do you recruit on social media? Like, how would you tell players to post on Twitter, Instagram, that kind of stuff to get noticed and to get recruited by you guys?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing now is tagging or hashtags. And with us being in the softball world on Twitter, they kind of just show up on my feed. So I think the best way is to always hashtag or tag it some way that will just kind of pop up on other softball fans' pages. And always tagging the coaches that you're interested in. I think a big thing though about tagging coaches you're interested in is not kind of limiting yourself to two or three schools, kind of broadening your interests. Sometimes like rival schools that you might be interested in, kind of getting their rivals and like broadening it to like 10 or so that you tag, or maybe you just tag your coach and your what's the word I'm looking for? Your team and like their organization. Yeah, that's the word. And you tag them and kind of get it out that way. I think that kind of broadens your ability to be seen by more people than just those coaches that you tag. And it's always like you have interest in schools you want to go to, of course, tag them. But I think the best way to get noticed and be on the radar for a variety of schools and kind of see what your options are is kind of broadening that horizon on your hashtags and your tagging.
So off of that, like what role does a player's off-field behavior and social media behavior like play in the decision making in recruiting them as an athlete?
I think it's right there. Like it plays really, they go hand in hand with each other. Once I find your Twitter, I look at your videos for your playing your softball talent, but I also kind of scroll through what you like, what you retweet, and just kind of you as a person on the social media aspect. Of course, that doesn't tell the full story, but it kind of tells some into what you're into or kind of a little background more about you and like your passion. So I think they go hand in hand with one another. Your social media kind of matters and it's out there forever. So kind of being conscious of what you like, retweet, or post, it can go a long way in the recruiting process.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
think like with the whole retweeting, liking thing, like you would think, oh, just because I didn't post it, like it doesn't matter, but it really does because what you like and what you retweet are essentially things that, you relate to in a way, and
Right.
it can tell a part of, who you are and what you like around and what you center yourself around. So I think it's huge that you like pay attention to the things on social
Yeah,
media that you're posting and stuff.
I have to go and unlike some things that I like on Twitter. I'm like, a recruit might see
Ah!
that.
Yeah. Well, off of that, like, what qualities do you look for in a player when you're considering them for recruitment?
I think relatability is huge, and your love and want for the sport, for our school, and just the role that you would have as a player, that kind of goes big. And it like, are you able to kind of just chat or just relate? Do you answer questions like one worded? Do you have a little bit more to kind of give? Um, and do you have personality? I think our team now we have 21 girls on the team and we have 21 personalities. They all are completely different. And I think that's what's great about our sport is we all have one love and it's softball. But we have so many different unique personalities that kind of come together. So it's kind of like, are you just like another person? Like if you have a talent that someone else has, but your personality is so much better, I think that we'd pick you over another girl who we kind of can't really talk to or kind of can't get a read out of. And I think that's kind of huge. And we also look at your relationships with your parents, with your teammates, with your coaches, and how you kind of interact with them on the field and the dugout and after a game. So you walking away with your parents, or just how you talk to them about wanting something from the concession stand, or having them try to carry your equipment, stuff like that. I think how you relate to those that are always in your life, or those that you love, how do you relate to them? Because we will soon be those people and we want to be respected and appreciated and loved as well. And I think that's the only way you kind of know that is by everyone else's, how you see their relationships.
You talk about parents and how the kids treat the parents. What role do parents play in recruiting their kid? Like, actually recruit the parents as well as the kids? Because I know the parents are obviously going to be involved in the program for the 4 years that their kids are there. So how does that work? What do you guys look for in parents, not just their children?
Right. Parents, they're a package deal. And I think sometimes parents can make or break a kid being recruited. And it's hard to say, but it's the truth. And I think that it's hard because it's like a really fine line between being a helpful parent, but also being a parent that kind of pulls the kid with them. And I think that biggest thing for parents is kind of letting your child's talents speak for themselves and letting the child speak for themselves and just kind of being just that support system for them. And but obviously, if you're asked a question, you answer it or you talk about whatever, but kind of letting the kid take ownership and role during the visit and letting them be the ones to lead it instead of answering for them or kind of just you being the one that seems more excited than they are. And um, I think that can be a good thing for a parent, just kind of knowing when and like when to pull, when not to pull. But it's hard. It's a fine line for parents, and I think they want so much for their kids, and I understand that completely. But I think it's the child's journey, so it's letting them be on that journey and you being just supportive with them. And I think once the child gets here and the parents are here being helpful for the child because college is hard and you go through so many different things mentally, physically, emotionally, just within softball and then within school. And knowing your boundaries there with coaches and with players. And once season starts, so many things happen. So I think just being a support system is the biggest thing you'd be for your child. And then if a coach were to ask for help with like a team function or something like that, obviously be helpful in that way, but kind of just taking the back seat on your child's college journey is the biggest thing you can do for them.
That was the best thing my mom did for me was she never said anything like when it came to softball. Like even when I played, like it was just like go have fun, go be you, go fail, go like do and learn the most that you can learn in the sport because I mean it's essentially just going to make you a better human in sport and life as you transition to college. So I think it's super important that parents kind of take that backseat, like you said, and
Yeah.
let their kid just take charge of everything and I mean, I'm pretty sure coaches can tell when a parent is emailing them over when a child is sending that email for recruiting. So
I'm sure too, like with the rule change where, you can't get recruited into your junior year, I think that allows as well, the kids are older. They're not in sixth, seventh, eighth grade to where they
Right.
can speak for themselves. They're about to be a senior. They're almost 17, 18 years old. They're actually they're able to have those mature conversations and
Right.
interact with their coaching staff more easily than I guess, a seventh grader, which
Agreed.
Jessie probably was a seventh grader when she was getting recruited. So
Right. Before the rule
um
change. Yeah.
yeah.
I have one more question for you, and then Katie will finish it off. How important do you think it is for high school players to attend camps and showcases, to be seen by coaching staffs or just your coaching staff in general at Marshall?
Personally, for Marshall, camps are huge. They're a chance for you to get one-on-one with us as a staff and for us to really kind of see your skill in a more fine-tuned setting. At a showcase, you might only get two at bats and they might not be the best at bats. You only get one strike out of those two at bats and you might get one ball on defense. So coming to a camp, you'd get 100 balls on defense, 300 swings, and we can really see your skill and like where your ceiling can take you. And we get to see you get test your throwing, your speed, all those little things. And you get to meet us, we get to meet you, so you can kind of see if it's more of a fit. At showcases, we can't speak to you. So I think coming to camp is crucial. I don't think we'd be the only staff to also say that because on a camp, we can talk to you. We can ask how, like your interests, how you like the university. You get to see the campus, and you also just get to see how we um, work as a staff, as a player one-on-one. And I think that's kind of huge. Showcases, they're great for you to get that competitive drive, but now they don't really go for like a championship or anything. So you're just playing your 6 games, getting your swings, getting seen. But in a camp setting, ours, especially, we play a scrimmage, so you get to see the competitive edge there too at the end after the skill. So I think camps are huge.
Awesome. Well, speaking of camps and showcases, what advice would you give high school athletes right now that aspire to be Division 1, but maybe they're not getting noticed, they're not on the radar as much as other players? What would you tell them to do? How would they get started in that recruiting process?
I think getting on a good travel team that goes more than just local, that they kind of get out of your little area. And that's going to be your biggest thing on exposure. And they go somewhere that a college coach that you might be interested in would be. I think that's the first step, is just getting on the team that cares about getting their players seen in front of coaches. And then from there, it's working on your skill. And um, you don't have to be perfect, but you just have to be good enough, like we said, to be wanted at a camp or just do well at a camp. And I think for that, play free. I know a lot of people, like, they stress when they see coaches at showcases, and like I said earlier, you get 1 at bat or 2 at bats, they're not the end of the world. Everyone fails, or game's a sport of failure. And I think that kids these days in recruiting don't understand that. And they think that we as college coaches want you to be 100% perfect every single time you step on the field or step in the box. And that's not the truth at all. We just want to see what skills you have and if we can develop them. And I think that's all that really matters. It's you wanting your skills shown and doing whatever you need to do behind the scenes. If you need to get with a hitting coach, a strength coach, stuff like that. But getting those people in your circle that also want you to be recruited and want you to be at that next level will also help you get there, because they will be in your corner for that.
The whole seeing coaches at tournaments is you get
That
so
stressed me
shaky.
out
I
too,
remember
so
I
I
remember
understand.
Coach Snyder, I was playing in Tallahassee and Coach Snyder like came to the parks to watch me and I was making error after error. And like his like lesson to me was like, I don't care that you're making errors. Like I don't care that you're failing. It's what are you doing after that?
Yeah,
Like
how do you
how are
respond?
you bouncing back? How are you resilient? Are you, what's your failure recovery look like? And like you said, you guys don't care. We play a sport of failure. So it's like you're gonna fail, you're gonna strike out, you're gonna make errors. But how are you gonna bounce back from what happened? I think that was all great advice. Like
Yeah.
I'm so pumped. Like I just want to get recruited again now after this talk. But
Right. If I could go get recruited again, I'd be ready.
right. But thank you so much, Aly. I appreciate you jumping
Yes.
on for the time that you did. We really appreciate the time you took to kind of just talk with us about recruiting. That's something we're trying to focus a little bit more on, is the recruiting side of things. We think it's super important for girls to just be a little bit more understanding of how the process works and how to get, exposure to college coaches like yourself. So we appreciate you for joining
Yes,
us on
thank
Extra Inning
you.
Echoes. And
One last thing.
okay.
Don't stress about how much time you have. You have so much time. You can start as a junior, as a senior. You don't have to start when you're in 6th grade. Like we said earlier, we can't talk to you till you're a junior. So don't stress. You have so much time, and like the right home is there. So it's coming. The time is now.